What's up, everybody? We're here for another episode of Hard Hat Highlights, episode number 13. This is where Jay and I pull the curtain back on our work week to talk about some of the things that are going on while we're working. And then, of course, Jay has scoured the internet for all the trending highlights and headlines. And we like to put our spin and our opinion on it. But without further ado, Jason Ryback, how the hell are you?
I'm not doing too bad. I'm a little under the weather. So if I sound like RFK Jr., I do apologize.
That's funny.
Speaking of weather, we got a little weather going on outside.
Ooh.
We got the effects of... Yeah, that's right. Hey, you're good at that. We got the effects of Hurricane Helene outside.
P. Diddy?
On her way up to the Panhandle, and we're sending our thoughts and prayers to those people that they're in for some rough sledding. So.
I heard actually on national news on the radio on the way in this morning, they said a possibility of 20 feet.
Jesus.
That's 20 feet. This roof here, as we sit here, I believe is only 14 or 12.
It's 12, yeah.
12. So think about another 8 feet above. It would engulf our whole strip mall here. Holy shit. So hopefully everybody up in that area is staying safe. And of course, if anything happens, we will be shipping up supplies and anything that we can do to help, as that's what happened to us when we were down a couple of years ago.
Absolutely. And you know what? I think as a product of Hurricane Ian, which we received a couple of years ago as a nice gift from God, a product of that is locally we're having a lot of fear-mongering this time around.
Yeah.
It's been insane.
Yeah.
And it's understandable because Ian was... You know, it was something no one's ever been through. We had always been kind of told storm surge, storm surge, storm surge, and it would never happen. And then this time it happened. And so I understand why people are cautious. And in fact, it was so much so that Matt Devitt, the Wink Weather anchor or meteorologist, had to go online and post and say, listen, I've been covering hurricanes for 20-something years, and I can tell you with 100% surety that this is not going to do what Ian did. This is not going to turn and come towards us. There's too many factors. That's correct. There's too many factors involved. But the fact that someone had to put their reputation on the line, someone in that position, just to do that, just goes to show you how far gone these people went.
Not only is he putting his reputation on there, when a weatherman says, or a meteorologist says, I'm 100% certain, that's automatically a red flag for me. However, in this instance, I know what he was doing. He was trying to tamper down some of the anxiety that's probably going from the overload of fear-mongering. I think it's an old saying in the news industry, if it bleeds, it leads.
Yeah.
And so I can see why, for business reasons, they would do that and keep people kind of tuned in on their channel.
Well, and I understand why people would want to be a little more prepared, especially here. Floridians, we can go from stubborn to stupid real quick. Like you did that last time around. You stayed right through Hurricane Ian.
Okay, I underestimated, but my gut feeling was a little kind of uncertain, which I didn't listen to 100%, so I got the family out of the house. I stayed along with a close friend. And it went from, okay, this isn't going to be that bad, to like, holy shit, this is going to be real bad. Like quick. The water, I think, was 15 feet above sea level, which put about 7 feet of water in the house, and it just wasn't stopping. And then you couple that with the 150 mile an hour winds.
Yeah.
At one time, you could almost feel the pressure of the roof wanting to be pulled off. You could feel it. It was just a weird, eerie feeling. And then, you know, downstairs, watching the water pile up against the impact-ready glass, by the way, worked well. Hopefully we could throw a video up of that. Actually said, how many opportunities am I going to get to float on a refrigerator in front of laminated glass, which we make. So if you're looking for any laminated glass, Jay and I would love to help you. But yeah, that was crazy. I'm grateful that I have a safe memory of going through it, but I wouldn't want to go through it again. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you are safe, thankfully.
Yeah.
Now, you consider yourself a bit of a conspiracy theorist.
I am.
Do you feel that these major storms, because it seems they're happening more frequently lately, do you feel that they're a product of man-made weather manipulation, such as like cloud seeding, like we've seen in Dubai?
No. Well, what do you mean in Dubai?
So last year in Dubai, they admittedly had been cloud seeding. So what that means is they take a plane up in the air and they release all these chemicals into the clouds to intentionally create rainfall. And the idea behind that is to use it in places where there are droughts going on to, kind of stem the drought. And so they did this in Dubai last year, and it rained for, I think it was like 4 days straight. These people didn't know what to do. There was a couple feet of water on the ground, and there was cars floating down the streets.
I remember seeing that. Now that you say that, I was unaware that was started from an agent or chemical release from an airplane. I'd like to look into that a little bit more. But if that's true, why is there any place on planet Earth where there's people that don't have water?
Well, that's the idea behind their science, is that they want to do this. They want to put this in areas where people are suffering from severe droughts. And they've even done this in places here in America, I believe, as well.
That's kind of dangerous. Like you said, you start poking at Mother Nature.
Yeah.
And she can blink her eyes and just wipe us off the map.
Mother Nature can be a bitch.
Yeah, I wouldn't mess with that.
Given these storms, this next statistic is a bit alarming. It was just found by the U.S. Census Bureau that nearly 1 in 8 homeowners are either underinsured or don't have homeowners insurance at all.
1 in 8?
1 in 8. Now, here in the South, that statistic falls to 1 in 6.
Holy shit.
So a lot of the reasoning behind it, they believe, is with the insurance premiums rising and the economy, people not being able to afford it, they're just saying, screw it, I'm not gonna insure my home. Now there's some people.
But do you even have the possibility if you have a mortgage? You don't have that option if you have a mortgage, right?
No, I'll tell you what. So my insurance company that I've been with for several years, Progressive, is no longer writing policies here in Florida. And so they told me I need to find a new insurance policy. I did that, and then somehow this must have crossed in the mail, but I got a letter in the mail actually just the other day from my mortgage company saying, we see you don't have hazard insurance. Please update the information. It's necessary to carry with your mortgage loan. And so you're right, you do need to have that.
So either a lot of people that don't have a mortgage anymore are saying, I'll self-insure or I'll gamble, or they're just not paying it.
But how does that gamble pay off? I mean, think about this. Let's just say, hypothetically, you're spending $3,000 a year on a homeowner's insurance, which I think is probably low, but let's just say $3,000 a year. Storm comes through and does $90,000 worth of damage.
Holy shit.
It would have taken you 30 years to save that amount of money.
Huh.
I mean, I didn't include the deductible in there, but still, that's a lot of time you'd have to save, and I don't know that that juice is worth the squeeze.
No,
unless you have a shit ton of money and you're taking a gamble that way. I don't know. I think just taking that gamble, you might end up shooting yourself in the foot.
Oof.
We, on the other hand, did not shoot ourselves in the foot or anybody else last Thursday.
No.
We went to the Alamo gun range, courtesy of our friend Charles.
Charles Jarrett, thank you. We met I don't know if I think he's a member.
He is.
Then has the ability to rent. If anybody hasn't been there, Alamo gun range is on Vanderbilt and like Airport Pulling. Absolutely beautiful store. On the first level, they got a store and range in the back.
Yep.
And you don't even have to bring your own gun. You can shoot guns there if you're interested in trying out different guns, or you can bring your own guns and ammo.
Yep.
And
I believe I kicked your ass with the AK-47, but let's go.
That is not true. We have video footage of that.
We got tape.
We went to the second floor where they have this kind of like saloon area with card table, pool table, a bar, which I couldn't, speaking of insurance, I can't even believe that's those two things in this hypersensitive time that we're in. You got guns and alcohol. We weren't drinking before. Actually, I don't drink, but you're only able to drink after, and there's wristbands. So they were
smart about it.
They were smart about it. But man, what a setup they have there. It's beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful. And we met some amazing people there. One in particular that really stood out to me. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We sat down at a table with one gentleman who we had just met but had a mutual connection with. And then another of his friends sat with us, and we started talking and came to find out that this friend is the former director of the Secret Service. Now, I say former because he said, this was a long time ago. This isn't now. Things are a little different now, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
But, man, the stories that guy told us, I mean, some of them I wouldn't share on camera just because I don't know that he would approve of it. But I think there's one out there that
Yes.
you and I have seen after the fact. We looked and we found it online. And,
Yeah,
and
there's
man,
research. It's already been publicized.
what an amazing story.
You
So,
should share it.
okay.
Yeah.
I think people would like to hear it.
Yeah.
So this gentleman's name is Louis Merletti, and Lou was the director of the Secret Service under Ronald Reagan, George Bush Sr., and Bill Clinton. And in 1996, under Bill Clinton, they were heading out to the APEC, which is the Asian Pacific Economic Conference, and they sent an advance team 30 days ahead. And the advance team came back and said, you know, there's some little cells operating within Panama, but the locals say they've got them in check. So Lou says, when they tell me they got them in check, something doesn't sit right.
Yeah.
And you feel it in your gut, and you gotta trust your gut. Anyhow, fast forward a month later, they're flying out there. He's on Air Force One, and the seat he's sitting at, he had a little desk, and next to it there's a little radio. They're about 4 minutes out from landing, and the radio lights up. So he picks up the radio. Gentleman on the other end says, we just received a communication over a radio channel that has not been used in 30 years. I said, well, what did it say? It said, the wedding is across the bridge. So Lou kind of, what does that mean? Nobody knew what it meant. So now here it is. He's 4 minutes out. He's got 4 minutes to react to this.
Yeah, they're going to land on the tarmac, and then they're going to put the president in his motorcade and go to wherever they're going.
That's right. So he's got 4 minutes to react, and at this point, he has to trust his gut because he already had this gut feeling, and now this comes into play. But he did remember a briefing that he had seen
How long
several years ago.
Yeah, he said a couple years ago.
Correct.
So he was going through briefs, and what did it say?
It stated that wedding was a term that had been used for assassination.
Yeah.
So immediately when they landed, he went to the chief of staff, Leon Panetta, and said, we're rerouting, we're taking the alternate route. Well, what does that mean? Well, it means a 20-minute drive is now a 45-minute drive. We can't do that. We got to get back. We had to get to sleep. It was late.
They had been traveling, and they had to do something early the next morning.
That's right. So he said, I don't care. I call the shots. We're taking the alternate route.
Yeah.
So they took the alternate route. The original route they were supposed to take had a bridge in it. And that's where he first thought of this. So they took the alternate route. They went through the slums. There was hookers. And,
Yeah.
old Billy Boy was enjoying himself.
Slick Willie.
They got to the hotel and
No, they were in the U.S. Embassy. I think that's where he said they stayed, in the U.S. Embassy.
that may be correct. Where they got to where they were staying.
Yeah, the safe house.
And they went off to the rooms, went to sleep. 4 o'clock in the morning, Lou gets a phone call, and they said, we found a bomb underneath the bridge, and we found AK-47s in a car parked next to it. Holy shit, he's vindicated, right? He says, I need photos. He said, well, sir, we'll get you the photos, but you're going to have to confiscate them because they are classified. Get me the photos. So he gets the photos. The next morning goes up to Bill's room, Clinton's room, and Leon Panetta immediately walks in. What the hell was that all about? Hold on, I'll tell you, but I want him to come out first.
Yeah.
So Bill comes out. He hands him an envelope with the pictures in there. He saved his life.
The whole family, including himself.
Yep.
Including himself, because he would have been in that motorcade.
Some people may agree or disagree. Anyhow,
Yeah.
saved his life. And
He did his job at the highest level.
100%. And to take it a step further, when he was on the phone with the gentleman at 4 o'clock in the morning, he found out that there was a bomb in AK-47. He says, I want to know more. I want to know who's behind this. Later that day, he got a phone call and said, Sir, we find out who is behind this. It's someone, have you ever heard of a gentleman named Osama bin Laden?
Yeah, and back then his name hadn't really surfaced at all in the United States because this was pre 9/11.
Yes, it was 1996.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the year I graduated high school.
But man, what a story to hear. You know, this is stuff that you see in movies or, you know, TV shows,
Yeah.
documentaries, but to hear it from the horse's mouth sitting right across the table from
And a
you,
good storyteller on top of that. I mean, I was
Amazing.
engaged like I've never been engaged in a story before. And you know it's not mainstream news because nothing bad happened.
yeah,
So it's not really publicized. Like you can see this story if you search for it, it's out there. But kudos to, and man, what a story, the way he told. Hopefully we're going to get him here on the podcast because I have a feeling there's a lot more of those stories.
Yeah.
But I think one of the moral, you know, the lesson to be taken away here is listening to your gut. I don't think there's enough people out there that listen. You know, there's an old saying, oh, you hear people say, oh, I should have listened to my gut. I should have listened to my gut. You never hear someone say, I shouldn't have listened to my gut. And this is a prime example where, you know, your intuition kind of just puts all this stuff together and kicks it down your gut, which is really your second brain.
Yep.
And he listened to it, which is as Tony Robbins would say, the 2 millimeter shift. Most people aren't willing to do that, especially when you're getting pressure from someone like the president.
yeah, that'll change your tune a little bit.
Yep, not him.
Nope.
No, he stood his ground, and the president should be thanking him to this day that he's still breathing air in because of that.
That's right.
So that was a really cool story.
I do have to share with you a story where sometimes listening to your gut may not be the right thing.
Yes.
A local developer here in Naples thought he would listen to his gut, and now he's in a bit of hot water.
Yeah.
So the developers of the Ascent high-rise condo down in East Naples had a mural that was approved by the city prior to building this.
So this is kind of a high-rise, mid-rise structure.
Yes.
Condominiums, apartments, whatever it is. Maybe retail on the bottom floor. But on the side of is it on multiple sides of the building?
I believe it's on one side.
On one side, it's almost the size of a billboard that they put a mural on the building.
Right.
Or it was planned for a mural.
It was planned for a mural that
was approved.
Correct. The developer decided he wanted to do his own thing and put up this
After the approved.
Correct.
Ooh.
Correct. And you know as well as I do, you don't mess with the city. Once they've given you approval on something,
Man.
they're going to come after your ass. So now here's a giant billboard in the middle of town, and he's changed it to this like flowery, colorful, like everyone's saying it looks like a Kleenex box.
Yeah, you know,
and it really does.
Yeah,
it really does.
But it's sparking a lot of controversy, both good and bad.
It's getting people talking about the place.
Yeah. So that's interesting. Now that we're even saying that, I didn't think of this before. The developer in the article says something to the effect of like, what did he say? Like,
Yeah, well, so it
was an accident, or-
He's chalking it up to being an honest mistake.
an honest mistake.
To me, nothing is honest about what that was done there.
Because you know all the rigmarole and red tape you have to go through with the county to even get something not even approved but submitted.
If you're building a high rise like that,
Yeah.
it's 1,000 times more attention to detail than building a home.
For years.
Right.
It's not like it's a weekend project. It's years.
Yeah.
And so then you finally submit it, which is a whole nother process. Then you get it approved. And then you go, you know what, I'm going to kind of 86 that and do something else. And then chalk it up as an honest mistake. Now, that said, on the outside of this, you said it's got people talking.
Yeah.
Is it possible that this was actually a marketing ploy the whole time?
Listen, no such thing as bad press, right?
Yeah, in most cases, right.
Right.
Like
So-
the mayor getting arrested, I don't know if that was good.
No, but this guy could just be crazy like a fox.
Yeah, I would hope that that's actually what it is because I think that would be genius. That was like that time when we were in Atlanta for a glass build, And we got that story about Nike when they were there during the Olympics, when Reebok was the head sponsor for the award ceremony in Centennial Park. So every time they'd have the first, second, and third place, at the bottom of the screen, Reebok paid like $250 million. But Nike kind of sabotaged where this shoot was going to be and realized that in the backdrop, they could rent the side of a building for 3 weeks and put
I believe he bought the building. Phil Knight bought the building.
And put the Nike swoosh on the side of it. And they're claiming that to be one of the
greatest guerrilla marketing
of all time.
Yeah.
So if this is kind of something out of Phil Knight's box, I think that'd be cool.
I agree.
That'd be cool. We'll have to stay in touch with that.
Well, we recently spoke about an incident I had with Amazon.
Yeah.
With them in delivering a package, in a manner in which they shouldn't have, in
Ace Ventura style.
Yeah, and it was my belief that that was due to a lack of employees and them, kind of contracting out to third party and things like that.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out they may have the same issue in another area of Amazon. An Amazon engineer just came out and said that there are many AWS, which is that's their Amazon Web Services, I believe it is their software that they use. You'll see it on all the NFL games. Yep. It's used on a lot of different things. Well, these engineers, many of them are leaving the company now. And the reason why they're leaving is because Amazon is now mandating them to go back to a 5-day in-person work week.
Here we go.
Yeah, so
now it's coming back.
These people have been working from home, getting spoiled, and now here comes the 5-day in-person work week. Now, they slowly rolled it out with a 3-day to start it off. What these people are saying, which I can understand some of it, during the pandemic, many of them moved away from where the headquarters was, where they had to report to.
Oh, so if they said, you guys are going to go ahead and work from home for the foreseeable future, like, well, fuck, I could just go move somewhere else.
Yeah.
Maybe take the equity out of my house, move somewhere inland, save some money, different lifestyle. And now they're being called back to work, so now they're in a pickle.
Yeah, so now it creates an issue logistically for them to come into work. So there's a lot of people leaving there. Additionally, there was a poll conducted, and 91% of staff said that they were considering leaving because they were unhappy. I'm sorry, 91% said they were unhappy with the decision. 3 and 4 said they were considering leaving the company because of the decision.
91% of the staff that was polled were unhappy with the decision.
That's right.
Now, sometimes you have to be careful with polls because you can make a poll. I saw a poll once that said, if you're going to play basketball, you got to be tall. Because most basketball, that's not necessarily true. But I'm imagining this is an overwhelming number just based on the size of this company. And you can see where people start this in being in a leadership position. Once you start taking something away from an individual, what do you expect to happen?
Well, because they take it for granted.
Yeah, but we should know that.
Yeah.
If you feed the alligator is going to keep coming. And so once they got a taste of going home and staying there, you get comfortable. Think about it. Think about all the money you're saving in gas, okay? And windshield time that you don't have anymore, so you get and spend time with more family. Now you start putting a premium on your time.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh, wait, you want me to go back to work? I'm not fucking doing that. And so now they're in a tough spot.
Well, he also went on to say that it's making it easy for competitors to poach their staff, because if they're having to go into work and the competitor's like, hey, you can sit at home on a computer all day. Well, I mean, they're going to choose to sit at home on the computer all day, right?
Yeah. I could see where that's attractive to a lot of people. It's not for me, just because I think a lot like you, I like the human interaction, and that's that's been one of the biggest components of our success. I mean, I don't have any higher education or any natural born skill set that's elevating me. We've made our bones just by showing up. The best abilities are availability.
Right. And furthermore, we've learned a lot from one another and other people within the organization by social interaction with them.
Yes.
Face-to-face learning.
And rapport building. There's nothing like building rapport. You can build rapport through social media or over the phone, but it pales into comparison the rapport that can and the humanization that you create in person. It's more, you're humanizing the conversation.
I just wonder if we're becoming a society of softies.
Oof. There's that, you see that thing like tough times create strong people. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It feels like we're coming into one of those paradigms.
Yeah, the pendulum's starting to swing back.
Yeah. Good times create soft people.
Well, perhaps Amazon might have more luck if they tried this next tactic.
Okay, let's hear it.
So, Russia is now urging companies
The Ruskies.
Russia is now urging companies to allow and encourage employees to take extra breaks throughout the workday to go jogging. When I say jogging, I mean horizontal jogging.
Oh, is that what I think it means?
Procreation.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so Russia just received their latest statistics on birth rate, and in the last 6 months, their birth rate has been lower than it was in the last quarter century. So now the Kremlin's top doctor has urged companies to allow their staff to partake in fornication at work. And furthermore, they're also encouraging women to begin giving birth at 18. As soon as they're ready, they want you popping them out because that's what Mother Russia wants.
That's unbelievable. So wait, let's just unpack. They want to give you extra time to have breaks on work so you can go fuck.
Yep.
But what if your spouse doesn't work there? Like you're going to go all the way home?
No, maybe there's some fishing from the company dock.
Oh my God. So they're encouraging that. They just want more babies. They don't care whose they are or how you make them.
I don't think they do. I mean, it seems like
what do you think about this?
To me, it feels like it's going to encourage more unapproved breaks. And again, the fishing from the company dock.
That's a tough scenario too. Once you kind of break that barrier, ew. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah. Well, who knows? Maybe they'll get better production from their employees if they clean out the pipes once in a while.
Well, you got to pump up those rookie numbers.
Well, I'm not sure there's any neuroscience behind that. There is on this next story. Steve Jobs actually had a technique that he would use when he got stumped trying to solve a problem and he was struggling for more than 10 minutes. He would get up and go for a walk. And recently, a Cambridge-trained neuroscientist named Mithu Staroni has backed up that claim in stating that the brain is actually not a muscle. So if you think about when we're doing work with our muscles, let's say we're tightening screws all day, right? The muscle is going to keep going even though it gets fatigued. We're carrying bricks or blocks, okay? We're still going to keep doing it. We're not going to lose track of the goal because our muscles they keep going. It's like muscle memory, right? Mm-hmm. But the brain, on the other hand, the brain finds itself wandering off and
if it's stumped.
Correct. And kind of almost giving up when it can't figure something out. So what happens is if you get up and go for a walk, it forces the brain to focus on something else. The brain's now saying, okay, I have to worry about moving this foot and then this foot. I have to move the legs properly. I have other scenery going around. And it almost resets the brain and puts it back into a state where now it can come with a creative solution to the problem.
I like that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, right?
I can see where that makes sense.
I mean,
we always feel good in the morning after working out here, with the gym that we have in the studio. But if I was stumped on, a proposal or kind of having a roadblock and I'm getting frustrated, I'm not getting anywhere, you're saying it would make sense to come out here and pump out a few sets or walk around the building and then get back into it.
Yeah, it puts you in a different mental state so you can approach the problem
so simple
differently.
So simple, it's simplistic. I love it.
Putting the brain in a different mental state may be the goal of this next story.
Oh.
Elon Musk's Neuralink.
Oh, I like
Are you
Elon.
familiar with this?
I have heard of it.
The brain implant that he's developed. Well, it's just received clearance from the FDA for a new offshoot of that called BlindSight. what this is going to allow people to do is those that have lost sight in both
Holy
eyes
shit.
will then be allowed to see again.
That's unbelievable.
Isn't that crazy?
I go nuts when they show those videos of someone putting on glasses that are colorblind and they see colors for the first time, and like it crushes me.
Yeah.
Kind of like the soldiers coming home. I would kill. I mean, think about the content that's going to come out of this. Somebody that's been blind their whole life now gets to see for the first time. Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Out of all the senses that we have, that would be the one I'd be most feared about losing the most.
Well, true. And Neuralink has done some amazing things. They've used it in patients with paralysis and had crazy results. Like people can work a laptop with their mind. They can move the wheelchair with their mind without, you know, without any commands or anything like that. So it's done a lot of crazy things. My question is, would you let somebody implant something into your brain? Because now you're giving someone else control of your brain. Like I have a hard enough time saying I'm going to put contacts in my eyes. I won't do it.
Yeah, you won't even put something on your phone.
Yeah.
So if you're asking me would I ever do this, I would tell you that I'm open to knowing what I know now. I'm open to almost anything if I believe I'm in a circumstance that's kind of like a dead end. Like knowing if I'm going to be blind for the rest of my life, I would be all about this because being blind for me would be one of the scariest things that could possibly happen.
Right.
For me. And so in that case, I'd be willing to forfeit my potential freedom or, you know, whatever nefarious things that could happen in lieu of being able to see again. The thing that does kind of worry me a little bit for the same reason why I haven't got the eye surgery yet to make my eyes better is I don't know that there's enough data to, like, in 2 months, you know, is there going to be a horn growing out of the middle of my head
Yeah.
or, you know, something like that. But I would be open to it. Would you?
I'd rather take a dirt nap.
Oh, just end it.
Yep.
I don't want to live anymore if I have to put a chip in my head.
To give someone else control of me, nope.
Okay. I respect that. Hey, stand for something or fall for anything.
That's right. Oh, on that note, I'm going to go implant some more knowledge into my brain so that we can have some new stories for next week.
Well, thank you. I think you did a great job. And thank you for joining us on episode 13 of Hard Hat Highlights. And stay tuned. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. But until next time, we'll see you then.